well. But when I'm transitioning between these different cultures, there are confusions that I have too. Here's a funny story. It was my college sophomore year. I was being very liberal artsy, exploring different subjects before picking my major. And I came home to Shanghai for winter break. This family friend, he came to ask me, so he said, "What's your major?" Oh, I said, I was taking some history classes and I really liked them, so I might major in history. And he said, "Wow, you're gonna make so much money, that's really cool." History? I mean, well, as it turns out, history and lawyer, they sound very much alike in Shanghai dialect, which is less than this. So, I was really shocked by how pragmatic people are. And it seems to me that there's only one definition to success, and that is wealth. And then when I start to learn more about how much China has changed over the past 30 years, I have started to understand this kind of mentality. I was reading an article the other day. It says back in 1976, working at a factory was considered a very lucrative job. And if a factory worker wants to buy a bike, he has to use his entire 4 months of salary. But today, factory is no longer a glamorous place to work at, and a factory worker with their 1 month of salary, they can buy over 8 bikes. So in other words, for an average Chinese person, the purchasing power has grown more than 30 times over the past 30 years. So if you think about that, with such a fast-growing economy, it is not hard to imagine why arts and humanities become secondary to economic development. And it is also easier to imagine why the fear of poverty is always at the back of Chinese people's mind, because we just got out of there. And I think it takes generations to really get over that fear and to look beyond the materialistic needs. And understanding the reality, I think, is only the first step to make changes to it. Having like a liberal arts education and also the perspective of looking at Chinese culture from both outside and inside, I really feel like I have the obligation to initiate something that encourages curiosity, innovative thinking, and cultural awareness, which are things that are not necessarily valued by a practical mentality. And that also means something that might not be really appreciated, or its values are not recognized at this economy, this climate. But working for the Shanghai World Expo, I think has given me this opportunity to get closer to my dream. When we talk about the expo, it is no longer the 19th century trade fair. It is more like an event where the entire world come together to show their creativity. Some people call it the Olympics of ideas. And next year in Shanghai, under the theme of Better City, Better Life, over 200 countries and international organizations are going to come to Shanghai to redefine their innovative and sustainable ways of living in cities. And also over this 6-month event, we are also organizing a series of symposiums, which we call it Expo Forums, that will draw speakers from all over the world to address different city issues. The topics include cultural heritage and urban renewal, and environmental challenges and urban responsibilities, and information technology and future cities, etc. And I believe that the sparks and brilliance from these symposiums, from the expo, will really inspire people in China to reflect on the things that we might be missing at this fast pace of growth, and to start thinking a little bit differently. I think the common theme that we all have in our stories about China today is actually about innovating this ancient country. I think it is a process that takes time, and the things that we're doing right now might not be appreciated. Its values might not be recognized right away, but I think we will get there one day. And my father has been in education his entire career, and he used to tell me this story that he read about education. He says that education is like giving a handful of sand to a little boy walking in the desert. He doesn't know what it is, he just puts it into his pocket. And later, when he leaves the desert, he looks into his pocket, the sand turns into gold. And I believe that events like TEDx Shanghai and the World Expo will become gold when Shanghai, the city, leaves the desert and looks into its own pocket. Thank you very much.